Sind wir schon live? Weiß
Is Gail there, Rich?
No.
Oh, she's out. Okay. Out and about. I've been doing some Chapman Cup research.
I think we are live. I think now we are live.
Cool.
Yes. So hi everybody that you join us today for our stream with Ian Burrell, the global rum ambassador, and Richard Seale on the other side, the master distiller and blender from the Foursquare Distillery from Barbados. So nice to have you here, guys. Yes.
So I had it on two screens.
Oh, so nice to have you here, guys. So today we want to speak a bit about Equiano for the German market, so that we can get some infos behind the story, maybe. So we can speak about production. We can speak about the story behind this rum. And for me, the first question was, why another blend? But not in a bad way. Yeah, not in a bad way. But I was just thinking, so many blends, and what was the idea behind? So,
exactly what I said to Ian when he pitched me the idea.
What he said, why another blend?
So, hanging around, having some rum. What should we do? Maybe do a blend. Hi, Richard. How are you? Can we start? Yeah.
You don't make it sound so easy. That's the hard part. Actually, getting hold of Richard. Getting hold of Richard is the hard part. Getting him to agree with something, that's even harder. No, I mean, when we look at blend, rums are blends anyway. That's the thing. Blend is not a bad thing.
No.
We have to. I know some of us have that Scotch whiskey mentality where they feel, oh, it has to be pure. It has to be single malt. Not thinking or remembering that single malts are blends as well. As such, and of course the Caribbean obviously educated those Scottish people. I hope there's some Scottish people watching them on how to blend. So blends is not a bad thing. It's just making sure that your art comes through, your skill comes through, and you do a blend that is going to be firstly justifiable, and secondly going to be tasty and good. So yes, it is just another blend. Well, I wouldn't say just. It is another blend, but it's a blend of rums that hadn't been done before. And I think that I'm hoping that's what really appealed to Richard, the fact that this is going to be something new, this is going to be something different. And as long as we stick to the guidelines, which is keep the rum as pure as possible, then it will fit into parameters and the ideology of what Richard wants to put out with these rums. So yes, it is another blend, but it's a different blend from what's out there already.
And so what was the idea behind? So you're just hanging around and thought about why not doing another
Ian brought
blend?
the idea to me. So he had the idea. Did you have the idea with the rest of the gang? Did you have
yeah, well, no, I had the idea first when to actually have a rum from the African continent and the Caribbean. My partners initially were like, oh, let's do an African rum. And I said, with all due respect, there's some really good rums coming out of the African continent, but they're not going to be good enough for the type of project that you want to do. So ideally, what we want to do is maybe have some African rum and some Caribbean rum. And when I said that, I was like, oh, African Caribbean, light bulb moment. And the rest of the team was like, oh, light bulb moment, nice ring to it. So then they was like, well, which part of the Caribbean? And as a Jamaican, I was like, well, there's only one island we can really go to get good quality rum. That was my heart saying that. My head said, what are you talking about? Who makes the best rum at the moment? I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah. Am I allowed to say that? It's too late now. Okay. I'm like, oh, shit. Richard, I suppose I'll have to try and go ask Richard if he wants to get involved because he's making the best rum at the moment. So that's how it came about. The Caribbean component had to be Barbados, but there's a lot of other reasons why it had to be Barbados, but it just ticked all the boxes. Natural, good tasting, easy drinking. As yeah, and Mauritius would happen. Yeah, exactly. A developing market as well, like Mauritius, as well. Also, funny enough, I remember being in where were we? I think we were in Hong Kong. We were in Hong Kong, and the brand ambassador for the brand in Mauritius had a sample of a cask strength rum, and gave a sample to me, gave a sample to Richard, and he was like, no, sometimes Richard has that awe around him where people are like, here's my sample. So he gave the sample to Richard. The guy had a taste. He was like, so Richard had a taste. He was like, yeah, it's not bad. And that was enough. The guy was like, give me my sample in case you change your mind again. So once it had the seal of approval, as in that distillery, that liquid, it was always going to be one of those rums that I enjoy promoting, but also one of those rums that if I ever did decide to get involved with a brand and do a blend, and it was coming from Mauritius or the African continent, it would be in part of that component. So I'm not going to go send Richard a rum that he's not going to like or enjoy. So yeah, so it was important to have a rum from Africa that Richard would have appreciation for, that would not diminish the quality of the Foursquare rum that went inside the blend as well. So that's how it came about. It was a case of just an idea, playing around inside a kitchen with some blends of mine and basically saying, right, this is the type of flavor profile I'd love to have, using a Foursquare rum, using a New Grove rum from Mauritius, and then saying to Richard, ideally, this is what I'd like to have, and then left it down to the artist.
Yeah, I think one of our trips that we first, which I guess is obvious because it's usually when I see you is when we're traveling somewhere. When I remember when you first pitched me the idea. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, because I get, obviously, as you might have guessed, we do get a lot of requests to create brands and own labels, and it's just not practical. And of course, it's not. It's you know, I'm not going to do something that conflicts when I do something else. So then Ian sort of pitched to me this completely sort of novel idea. Yeah, then obviously it was of interest. And yeah, and what had been happening is Ian and I have been to a couple of Hong Kong Rum Fests. Yeah. I think you went to the first one. I didn't go, and then I think we more or less went to every one since.
Yeah.
We always see the Mauritian rums there.
Yeah.
And they're getting, you know, and they're very good. So that was a kind of an added impetus. So and it's, you know, it's literally on the other side of the world, but obviously we've got, you know, the heritage in common with sugar and the rum. So it's a, you know, it's very novel to sort of pull things from, you know, I mean, literally the other side of the world.
And then again, that was the lure. I mean, everyone loves a story.
Yeah, and as I say, it's amusing. Yes, we literally sort of met. We would meet them. I mean, we see the Mauritians from other places, but they always have a strong presence in Hong Kong for obvious reason.
Might be that Mauritian Rum Ambassador, Richard. It might be that Mauritian Rum Ambassador.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So we would get an opportunity to see a whole range of Mauritian rums when we were in Hong Kong, and yeah. So he was, you know, sort of one thing led to another, but certainly, as I say, it wasn't my idea at all. I mean, it was something that Ian brought to me, but of all the ideas that I get brought, I thought, yeah, I think I'd quite like to do that.
Yeah.
So Ian tried rum on Mauritius, thought about the plan to blend the liquid with your stuff, or
yeah, I mean, you started
how everything starts.
Yeah, I started. I mean, in at home and in my kitchen, I started playing around with some of the single cask Mauritian rums and trying to find a few of them and trying to find out if there was like an identity or something that it would bring to the table, to the blend. I pretty much knew exactly, ideally, what style of rum I wanted this product to be. First of all, it had to be something that the rum connoisseurs could appreciate. Now, when we talk about rum connoisseurs, we have the connoisseurs that will sip and savor all types of rums. But what we're seeing now, we're seeing a lot of rum connoisseurs move and gravitate towards more full strength rums, cask strength, or much more stronger. So we have to have a rum that has flavor. But also, we have to also remember, realistically, those rum connoisseurs are the minority of rum drinkers out there. There's more rum drinkers that will drink a rum either in a mixer or they'll sip it with a couple cubes of ice. And they're on a rum journey as well, but they haven't got to that stage where they could drink something that's 49, 50, 65% alcohol by volume. So we have to look out for those guys as well. So my dream was to have a rum that could tick all those boxes. And when I first tasted the first samples of the rum, I was like, wow, this is exactly what I was hoping it's going to be. It was one of those rums that could tick all those boxes. When people say to me, like, oh, is Equiano a sipping rum? I say, no, it's not a sipping rum. It's a drinking rum. It's a rum you drink. You can drink it neat. You drink it on the rocks. Drink it with your favorite mixer. Stick it in a cocktail if you want to. But the most important thing is you're drinking it. Because, listen, I sip Ray and Nephew. I get cursed all the time for sipping a Jamaican unaged 63% alcohol rum. I love the flavor and taste of that. But if anyone says to me that's not a sipping rum, I'll give them a good Jamaican slap. Because that's So what is the definition of a sipping rum? It's a rum that can be sipped.
Yeah, you can sip. Neat.
Or marketing guys, some marketing guys in some companies might say it's one that's smooth. That's not because they're laden with loads of sugar, but that's another story. But no, a sipping rum, a drinking rum, a mixing rum are pretty much the same thing, depending on who the person is drinking. So that was the dream, to actually have a rum like that could deliver and appeal to different types of rum drinkers, either expert rum drinkers or new rum drinkers. And I think, not saying because he's here online, I think Richard did that. Well, he ticked the boxes. The testament is people that are drinking it at the moment that are commenting and saying, wow, you know what? I mean, one of the comments I've just seen online here is funny. It's like, I think the only problem is it's in the 70 cl bottle because these bottles gone too quickly. That's the type of comments we're hearing globally at the moment with when people drink Equiano. And it makes me feel proud to actually be involved with a brand like this.
So what can you tell us about the liquids inside if we speak about Equiano?
Well, don't ask Richard to tell you about the Mauritian rum because he was like, this smells a bit funny.
Yeah, I don't make the Mauritian rum, and so I mean it's a little bit like our other project. We leave the Mauritians to do what they want to do on their side, and we do what we do on our side, and then we put them together. So yeah, I don't know the Mauritians in any shape or form.
But the Mauritian rum is it's been aged for a minimum of 10 years in two types of casks. Once used cognac cask, and then one used ex-cognac cask, and once used Limousin oak cask as well. So two types of Limousin oak, French oak. Single column, still molasses. They take it off of, if I remember what Lorick saying, Lorick takes it off of the still at about 83, 84. No, I'm not talking about. Oh, sorry, 94. And then ages it for several amounts of years, depending on which type of rums he's trying to create as such. So when I tasted some of the single casks that they had, they sent me some samples. I was like, yes, that's what I want, because it's got that fruity note that I want, and I'm hoping that can add to and complement some of the younger, more medium-bodied rums that are coming out of the Foursquare Distillery. Because as I said, I wanted it to be a rum. Let me steal a line from the Labour Party: a rum for the many and not for the few. So this is what I wanted Equiano to be. So yes, we could have easily gone very, very small batch. I could have gone to Richard and said, listen, I want something at cask strength, but no. We have those rums, and there were some great rums out there. I just polished off a bottle of Sagacity yesterday. Plenty, whatever it's called, plenty. You pronounce it better than me, Stefan. What?
Plenty Potenziario.
There you go. That's it. Yeah, we drink that, and that's full of power. But again, it's about horses and horses. When do you want to drink that? You want to sip. You want to savor that. You want to. If you smoke a cigar, you have that. You have it at different times. I wanted to have a rum. I wanted Equiano to be a rum you could drink all the time, anytime, and more importantly, in a session. Drink it, finish the bottle, and buy another one with friends. So the Foursquare rum had to be that style of rum, and Richard's got quite a few of those. I still think, for me, the Dawley's range is one of the most underrated ranges out there, and the only reason why it gets a lot of traction because it's connected to the distillery. But I still think it's underrated. When you taste the range of the rums from the 8-year-old to the XO to the 12 and the new 14, they are amazing tasting rums. That was the benchmark for me, in my mind, with that little twist of New Grove or Greys from Mauritius added to that. And as I said, I think he delivered. I think he delivered with the actual rum.
It's a super nice liquid. But maybe you saw also the question, the downside,
Okay.
the nerdy question here about the time of fermentation.
I forgot we're in Germany. Yeah, lots of proper nerd questions. Richard, I hope you prepare for this.
Well, I can answer on my side.
I can answer from the Barbados side. I can tell you the Mauritian side. We can do this again with Loic, who makes the rums in at Gray's Distillery in Mauritius. But so yeah, from Richard's side.
Yeah, from our side, it's our typical molasses fermentation. It's about 44 hours, 44 to 48 hours. That's the actual fermentation time. The problem always with questions like that is, and we have these discussions a lot, and you know, as you say, we get the nerdy and the geek questions, and I actually don't like. I don't like when rum is reduced to sort of a laundry list of stats. I always remember one rum fest, sort of my earliest encounter with our very good Danish friend with his notebook, literally asking me every single possible question.
I can imagine. Wasn't Keegan
down, you know, what is coffee still at? What is it? And the problem is that you know, it's so difficult because people want to know and they want to understand and appreciate what the rum is, and that's good because that enhances your appreciation of stuff.
Yeah.
But we also try to make things too simple and simplify things into numbers. Because, for example, I do fermentation, but I do 2-stage fermentation. So I didn't count the first stage. I also do resting time. I didn't count the rest time. Someone else might do everything in one pot and count everything. And then they might say to you, well, yeah, we do 72 hours. And you've literally compared apples with oranges.
Correct, yeah.
And there are techniques to make fermentations go slower. There are techniques to make fermentations go faster. So it really depends why your fermentation went the length of time that it did as well. So we've got the answer on Gray's.
Matteo, she's the Gray's ambassador for Mauritius.
Yeah, and that sounds quite cool. But I can tell you the rum that comes from Gray's is quite a heavy rum. It really all depends a little bit what they're counting in the 30 hours. They probably got, sounds to me that they're probably doing a pre-fermented with that. And, you know, the yeast, you know, there's lots of ways. So I think sometimes we try to simplify something, which of course is broadly true. In other words, if you go to you know, Hamden and see natural fermentations take 2 and 3 weeks, and they're very rich. And then maybe you go and nip over to some of the light rum makers. You know, you go to visit, you know, or whatever, and you
Puerto Rico Don Q, they like super quick fermentations.
Yeah, so of course, broadly speaking, you're absolutely correct. But I hate then if you take those very broad truths and sort of then literally translate it into, well, 48 hours is this much flavor, so 52 hours must be this much flavor. It's never quite that simple. But coming back to the answer to the question, 44 hours. But you know, between the start and by the time we distill it, it's oh shit, I can't even remember now. It'll be we'll do a pre-ferment about 9 hours, and then we'll try to rest for about we won't ever rest. It'll be unusual. We'll rest between about 6 and 11 hours.
One quick question. I'll ask a question for Stefan.
But then that's the molasses fermentation, of course, which is the Equiano is 100% from us. Obviously, the molasses fermentation, but we do the juice fermentations, which do take several weeks.
Are you using, Richard? Are you using the same yeast for all of your rums? Okay.
Right. Yes. Well, yes. So what happens is we're either using one added yeast for added yeast fermentations, and then for natural fermentations, well, obviously it's the natural yeast.
Right. Yeah.
So that's a myriad of different yeasts, and they are different every year. And
I just preempt that question because I know someone like probably Ivar from Canada is probably going to ask that.
He's asking when will it be available in Canada?
Oh, we got to the second stage of LCBO. So
Canada is the
fingers crossed for Canada.
The North Korea of world.
Fingers crossed. We're working on it.
So also what I think is a funny info on the bottle on the back side is that you find the GPS data of both distilleries.
Yeah. Just in case, because people like to discover things, and the Equiano brand will always be about a journey of discovery, especially for this first one. We want people to discover things. We don't want to spoon feed everything with everyone. Yes, it's bottled. It's blended and bottled at Foursquare in Barbados. So they'll know that. Not everyone would know exactly where Mauritius is, for example. Some people actually thought Mauritius wasn't even part of Africa. They thought Africa was that big land mass in the middle of the earth as such, forgetting that there are lots of islands that are part of the continent, just the same way as United Kingdom is part of Europe. Well, until Brexit. But we are still part of the European continent as such. So we thought it would be nice to put the coordinates there. And one of the other things as well is, as we do this journey from now till forever, I hope, we'll be doing lots of different things where we'll be adding coordinates to certain PR and promotable types things. It might be a coordinate to where you can pick up an exclusive bottle or exclusive bottling or something like of Equiano. Maybe it may be a competition of some sort, but the coordinate parts where we want people to discover things is going to be an important part of the story, because Equiano, although unless you've read and understood about Olaudah Equiano, if you didn't know, just a quick synopsis. Olaudah Equiano was a freedom fighter. He was an entrepreneur. He was an African that was enslaved when he was 11 years old. He was brought from Africa to Barbados, which again is the same journey our rum makes, from Africa to Barbados. He was in Barbados for a short time, then sent to Virginia, where he was sold, and then sent to the UK. So again, the rum leaves Barbados and goes to the US, and it goes to the UK, the same journey as Equiano did in the 1700s. Now, what makes him such a remarkable person was the fact that not only was he learned English at a very fast rate, not only did he learn and master the art of being a sailor, because he spent most of his time on ships, and he sailed to the North Pole. He actually sailed to the North Pole, where a 12-year-old Horatio Nelson was on the boat. So there's a link there to Horatio Nelson. He sailed around Europe. He sailed to the Americas. He sailed to the Caribbean. But what he did, he bought his own freedom for 40 pounds. What's that, like 45, 46 euros? He bought his own freedom by selling spices and rum in the late 1700s. And with that freedom, he came back to the UK, teamed up with other Africans that was there, because the Africans that were in the UK were a lot different from Africans that were in the Caribbean or the Americas that were on the plantations and basically building the foundations of the future Western world. They were in England trying to live as British people as such, but they also realized that what was happening in the Caribbean was wrong. So he informed a lot of the abolitionists with his book. He wrote a book called The Interesting Times, The Interesting Narrative of Olaudah Equiano, the African Olaudah Equiano, which actually helped with the abolition of slavery. 10 years after he died, the abolition of slavery actually came about in 1807. So he was an instrumental part of that, and that's why he's one of the most important people for equal rights, for what we're seeing around the world today, where we want everyone to be treated equally. He was instrumental part of that story, that information back then in the 18th century. So it was an honor for us to actually use his name, put his name on the bottle of rum. But we also wanted to tell people a story, but we also want people to discover and understand who he was. And that's why we're doing things like coordinates on the bottle, discover and learn where the rum is from, discover who Equiano was, discover what influences he made. And the only way I personally, as a independent rum ambassador, and as you know, Stefan, I work with brands around the world, different brands, well, rums that I drink, I should say, promoting the category of rum. The only way I was ever going to be associated with a brand, a new brand, was a rum that was going to help promote the category of rum. And that's why it had to tick a lot of boxes. And one of them was what the rum stood for. Not only how it's made, as in unadulterated, untouched, all natural, that part standard. Of course, that's what rum should be. But also the story of who Equiano was and what he stood for. And by doing that and in reinforcing that, we're also contributing 5% of our profits to groundbreaking charities as well. We actually had 2 conversations today, which are brilliant conversations. One with a great organization that is looking to eradicate modern day slavery around the world, in India, in Africa, in the Caribbean, people that are exploited, because modern day slavery is different from the transatlantic slavery, of course, but it's still the exploitation of human beings. So we had a great talk with them, and then we had another talk with the Freedom Foundation based in New York. And again, we like what they're doing. So I'm trying to be, on a selfish point of view, I'm trying to abuse my position from what I put myself over the last 20 years of working in rums to try to influence other people, to help other people. Donate some money for a charity, help buy a bottle of this rum, and help with what's going people around the world that really need help. And even though we said we're going to do it with our profits, what we've done as a company to actually instigate this quickly is every bottle of rum that's sold from our website, whether it's the UK one or the American one, which has done incredibly well in 2 weeks of being open, of selling rums, we're donating $2 and £2 to these charities, to our foundation, the Equiano Foundation, to start the ball rolling. And I tell you, yeah, I don't know if the pandemic, if I could have gone back in time and said, you know what, let's have the pandemic at this time, it's actually worked out in the benefit, for the benefit of the brand, because the world has stopped. The world has stopped and looked around and said, you know what, this is wrong. We can't be doing this. We can't be doing that. We can't be doing all these types of things. So the world has stopped, and a lot of people have realized that we need to change as a world, and it's helped. It's helped with the message that we want to get across with a brand, and it's helped our brand, because a lot of people have said, we like what you do, we like what you, the story you're telling, we like the connections that you're trying to implement in the actual brand, and it's just the right time. It was all about timing, and it was perfect timing. I mean, we were talking about this over a year ago, Richard, and we had another name for the brand, and Rich was like, "Get that shit out of here. That's no good. Get rid of it." So we had to get rid of the first name.
Yeah, that's my one.
And then all of a sudden, it's like, bam!
They came with a concept, and rum from Africa, good blend, good. Here's the name. I was like, no.
Well, we won't tell you the name because we need to use it in the future. But yeah, for this brand, it was. Richard,
so then,
it
turned out to be really good. Then the guys. Everyone really thought another brand. It's another name. Everyone, all the team really thought, not me, but all the team would really thought about the name, and then really ended up coming up with one that really works for the whole brand. So
although Richard doesn't feel he stirred us on that path, he did stir us away. He stirred us away from the original name.
What was the original name?
Can't tell you. We might do that. We might do it in a competition. We might have to use it for a future brand somehow, but. But it had a great story as well behind it.
Also for the other name, a great story.
Yeah, the other one had a great story as well, but we'll leave that one for now.
I can't even remember the name now, to be honest.
Good, even better. So Richard won't say it because once Richard's got a good rum inside his hand, like one of the Foursquare ones, like one of my favorites, Zinfandel. No, he doesn't drink Zinfandel. It's too weak for him. Once he's got something like let me see 2007, any of the ones with the blue on there, because the ones with the blue are the cask strength. Nobility. Yeah, once you got one of those good rums, a cigar in his hand, you can get any information out of Richard. That's a little tip. Cigar, good rum, ask some questions.
What I also think, which is pretty good, is that you speak about that the rum is minimum aged for 8 years.
Yes, minimum age for 8 years, because the youngest.
It's close to the Scotch category, because you always say the youngest drops inside.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're Mauritius. I'm trying to think if all the rums I know in Mauritius. See, Mauritius as a colony, an ex-colony, I should say, that's been colonized by the Dutch, the English, and the French. When they label their products out there, because of the French influence, They do like to use symbols like XO and VS on some of their products. But when they use age claims out there, 99.9% of the times it is the youngest they put in there. I say 99.9% of the times because the same distillery did do a particular rum that I had to give them grief about a few years ago because they were trying to copy a trend around the world. Unfortunately, they got rid of that brand quickly, but they did do a Solera rum there, and they got rid of that very quickly, which is great. I'm glad they did that. But yeah, when you look at rums in Mauritius and they have an age claim, that's normally the youngest rum. But that is standard when you go to Barbados. You come to Jamaica, that is standard. Martinique, standard. There's a lot of countries where it's standard. This is one of the problems around the world with rums, because rums are made in so many different places and people have different interpretations of what their style of rum is. You'll have average age and you have Solera age statements, which personally, and I can say this because there'll be loads of people watching, the Solera age statement, it's bullshit. Solera age statement does not make sense. Any brands out there and you have a Solera on your bottle and you have an age statement, it does not make sense. Unless you're a Glenfiddich, because their 15-year-old Solera has been in their Solera system for 15 years. That makes sense. That I can understand that, but that's a whiskey when they did that. But anyway, that's moving off to the point. So yes, we put on the bottle is its minimum age. Youngest rum inside there is 8.
And yours 10, right, Richard?
No, it's the other way around.
No, it's the other way around. They should send it 10. The Foursquare rum is an 8.
Yeah. 10 years here, 8 years there.
Correct.
Yeah. And the blend,
but more importantly, all tropically aged.
Yeah. No sugar, no additives, no coloring.
What's that?
Color. It's 43%, so it has color.
It has color?
Yeah.
A touch, just for consistency of the blend.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we can start on a whole other subject first.
Yes, that's true.
But yeah, color unfortunately goes with watering down. And of course, when you're blending 2 rums together and then getting different product from Mauritius, yeah, it's impossible. And it's a big, lovely, bright glass bottle. It's simply impossible to do it without color correction.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about your blend? Is it more pot or more column, or is it?
Well, actually saw this question on the previous post today.
Yeah, no.
About Richard's blend.
If we speak about the German market, so they want to know everything.
I know.
Well, the Barbados element is more column. The Barbados style is always more column. That's the first style. That's been the Barbados style now for since the introduction, really, of column.
Yeah. And are there also some plans for doing like a Equiano cask strength or something on top, or is it just the Equiano?
No. So yeah, there are ideas to do different SKUs in the near future as well. Mm-hmm. Thing is, when you're talking to distilleries like Richard, Foursquare, and you talk to distilleries like Gray's, when they're making rums, it's about allocation. They're making rums not only for now, but also making rum for the future. So for us to actually want to do a rum with like more significant age rums, we need to get these conversations in now. So that's as we're still a new company, still a new brand. These are conversations that we're having together as a team. But then I have to bring that to Richard because it's still a business. I have to bring that to Gray's and basically say, listen, we want to maybe put some money aside or put some costs aside maybe for an XO version or an age claim version where we actually do an age claim. And someone just put, why don't you put an 8 on the label? I just decided not to put an 8 on the label. Maybe we might put an 8 on there. Maybe we might put an 8 on there if we decide to sell maybe in China, because it's a lucky number in China, number 8. Put a big red 8 on the label. But yeah, you have to forecast for these things. It's Richard can tell you the trials and tribulations of forecasting, putting rums aside to forecast for future blends in future times. And it's frustrating for me as a person that doesn't actually make rum, because every time I go to Foursquare, Richard keeps on bringing these samples from cars. Said, Ian, taste this. And I'm tasting it. I'm like, wow, it's amazing. Yeah, it's not going to be ready for another 4 or 5 years. I'm like, what? 4 or 5 years? I'm sitting here sipping something that I think is actually drinkable, and it's not ready for 4 or 5 years. So, yeah, so we'd love to be able to do that in the future, but that's something we have to then forecast and then go into an agreement where we can actually get some minimum age statements. Or no, maybe Richard can sell us some 12-year-old rum.
Maybe we have also to do a master blender course together in Barbados.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can go out to Barbados. I think they're giving away citizenships at the moment. You can come and become a Barbados citizen and study or work there for a year or something like that.
No, not a citizenship. You can work remotely.
Work remotely. Sorry, that was it. You can work
here. You got to work on a computer.
So you can stay in Germany but be a Barbados citizen.
If you send some barrels for trying, no worry.
No, Ian, you could move to Barbados as long as you don't do any ambassador work here. You qualify.
Oh,
ooh! I never thought about that.
Ambassador
make a note of this. Sorry, let's get my pen.
Okay, I write it down.
Rum always tastes good in Barbados. It's got the natural moisture in the air of that one. It just opens up. Some of them you do a little bit of water inside there, but some other rums you can just drink it naturally, sip it after a nice meal. When you got that Barbados sort of tropical climate, it's the same as in Mauritius. When you're in Mauritius, the tropical climate, there's so much similarity between, say, Mauritius and the Caribbean. The climates there, so it's great drinking rum in the tropics. I do feel underprivileged when I'm drinking rum here in Europe. Although the rum tastes good, it just doesn't taste as good as when you're in the tropics.
And this liquid, is it always available, or is it, for example, batch 1 is like 12,000 bottles?
Richard, I can't remember exactly how many bottles did we do for the first rum?
Oh, I can't remember, but it's a permanent item, yeah.
12,000 or something.
Something like that.
Permanent item.
Something like that, yeah.
But this should be always available.
Yes, it will always be available. Always be available. Always be available.
The permanent item.
Yes.
So yes, obviously it's an item that takes a little bit of coordinating, because the rum from Mauritius to Barbados and then blend and then.
Yeah, it's not easy.
No, it's a permanent item.
It's not easy getting rum on a boat from Mauritius round to Europe up to Barbados. There'll be a lot cheaper way of doing it, but we wanted to be authentic. We also wanted to retain that story, so we don't mind the extra expense to create something that's going to be quality. That's another reason why, for example, we bottle in Barbados. That's when I spoke with my partner, when we were coming up with the idea of my partners, I said, before I speak to Richard, we have to agree that the rum has to be bottled in Barbados. Has to be. That's the important part of it. It'll be a lot cheaper to send it in some plastic ISO barrels to the UK, bottle it here in Europe. But no, this particular rum has to be bottled. It had to be bottled in Barbados. That was an important part of the story, an important part of what I wanted to give back to Barbados. I want to go there and see the guys working inside and bottling the rum. And I go to the Foursquare Distillery and have a smile on my face and say, I'm a part of that. Yes, I'm a part of that. Normally I go there and I'm like,
no, it's not aged on the boat.
Yeah, it's not aged on the boat. just in case people say, oh, is it that?
It gets emptied from the cask in Mauritius and then shipped.
I know that's going to be a question, Rich. That'll be a question from somebody. Is it dynamically aged coming from Mauritius to Barbados?
and then how long you blend the barrels together?
So when we do a blend, we're doing our normal time. We just let it marry for a couple of days. It's just a routine procedure for us. Some people have different approaches to that. We're not too melodramatic here about that, but it's usual. It's always good to let things stabilize a little bit before we put them in a bottle. But the good thing is with these products too. And it's the same thing with my other cask drinks. Is well, not this cask drink, but my other rums is, of course, they do get a bit of time also after they bottle until they get to the consumer. So all that helps them sort of restabilize a little bit.
I'm just laughing at Raina Gode. They put age on a boat? ? So you had to ask. You preempted me. You're gonna ask. Oh man.
So for me, it's a super, super, super nice liquid. I love it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So when you first tried it, Stefan, how did you? What did you see it as? I mean, how did you see yourself drinking this rum?
So the first time I've tried it, it was just a sample. I remember,
Okay.
and I think it was not that balanced as this one.
Oh, right. Okay.
As I remember, I really didn't know if it was the first batch or just a kind of.
Oh, that might be the hot one, Rich. The hot one. Remember, it was a little bit hot.
I remember because the problem is we did. Shit, I'm trying to remember. We did some, if you remember, where they literally sent me like a little 20 liter of.
That was right. Yeah, that was it.
Rum, and we mixed up a few bottles, and I think that was for a rum fest.
Yeah. We
mixed it.
Yeah,
so that was in the official batch. Batch number 1. That was like a little, and then we did. Then we've done a couple of like official batches since then. So I don't know. But I think even before that, did I not make up like 2 or 3 bottles? I think maybe, or maybe that came from the same. But remember, we had that little batch from that little tank of little, jerry can of rum.
Yeah, because we were as a new company, as a new company, especially when you have the working parts of what we have, as in the distillery in Mauritius, distillery in Barbados. We need to get the rum from Mauritius to Barbados, clear customs, get Richard sample it.
The first samples were 40%. The very first samples.
Yeah.
That was the first one. That was 43.
Yeah.
So it did taste a little stronger than the other one.
Yeah.
And then there have been a few little tweaks from the rum from Graves. As they so yeah. So that's where that's why, you might get some variation depending on whether you had one of the lab samples, whether you had one of the Rum Fest samples, or whether you had the first batch.
I think you had some of the early batches. Also, the rum coming out of Mauritius is coming at 55% alcohol.
I think it was one from the first batches that was just like 100 bottles or something like that.
Yeah, I think even less than
that might have been the one we did for UK Rum Fest.
Yeah, it was just for the UK Rum Fest.
Yeah.
Yes,
and it was a bit like having 2 different liquids in your mouth playing around. So on the outside, maybe it's more the Barbados rum, and then on the tongue it was more the Mauritius rum. It was super funny, but if I got this bottle here, it was like one liquid.
Nice.
Yeah. And it was
that one was we had rushed those up for the sample.
That was us. I mean, that was our fault, because as a company we wanted to run before we could walk, and when it comes to rum, there's no shortcuts. You have to take your time. Take your time. There's no shortcut. When you hear people say, "Oh, I can make a 20-year-old rum in 6 days," no, you need to take your time. Take your time. So that was our fault for rushing just to get a product out for a Rum Fest. But once the official blend came in, which is what you have in your hands, which is what people are drinking at the moment, that's when that's the liquid that started winning the medals and the awards, and having people saying, "Wow, amazing! We need to come back to this. We need to buy another bottle."
Yeah, that's a super nice liquid. So I had it already here for a rum sour, so now it's empty.
Oh, nice rum sour.
Yeah, so because I didn't had limes, so I take lemon. So
lemon juice. Do you use egg white in your sour?
It depends. So in the summertime, more without egg white because it's more refreshing.
Okay.
Between autumn and spring, so in the wintertime, I would prefer egg white.
Yeah.
But yeah, it depends.
Okay.
It depends.
Okay.
But also neat, it's pretty good. In an old fashioned, it's delicious. In a Manhattan, it's also wonderful.
Yeah.
I think Mike was doing a Royal Bermuda Yacht Club before the stream.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So you can do everything with this liquid.
I'll tell you, one of my favorite drinks, which I've been making, is the right hand, which is the rum Negroni with a couple dashes of chocolate bitters, but we call it the free hand. Being Equiano, being free, buying himself out of slavery by selling rum, so we call it the free hand. So the free hand is equal parts. Oh, sorry, it's not equal parts. It's actually 2 ounces if you're from the States, 50 mils of Equiano, 25 mils of Campari, 25 mils of sweet vermouth, 3 dashes of chocolate bitters. Stir that around inside the glass or in a mixing glass. Serve that on a nice block of ice and a twist of orange. Beautiful tasting cocktail. But yeah, the free.
I thought the official way of drinking was a kind of sour with orange juice mixed by Ian Burrell and I forgot.
Oh no, I love it in many ways. I mean, one of my favorite ways, one of the best way for me personally, I'm just being biased, is a block of ice and just a twist of orange peel, just the oils, and that's it. Equiano, ice, the oils of orange, and that is, for me, that's orgasmic. That is.
So when we do the Villiers level, so orgasmic level 10, 8?
Well, it depends really. It's like, anyway, I won't go there because I don't get banned from bloody StreamYard or Facebook.
And for you, Richard, how do you drink it?
I always drink rum neat.
Always neat?
Yeah, I mean, I go out obviously and bartenders will obviously, show off a nice cocktail or stuff. No, but they'll want to show me what they've done with the rum, and that's fine. I mean, that's not my first choice to drink a cocktail.
Yeah. So
it doesn't mean I don't enjoy, a well-made cocktail. I do, but it's just not my.
Stefan, there's one of the press pictures we have. I don't know if you've seen on our website where we say the glass and the Equiano sitting inside the glass, and there's a block of ice sitting on the glass. It hasn't actually gone into the glass. It just drips because it's too big. It doesn't fit in the glass. That is a little sly homage to Richard. What that's saying is, I want my rum. This is my cocktail. I want my rum with ice. Hold the ice. So the ice can't actually fit in the glass, but it's a beauty. It's been hand carved. It's sitting on top of the glass, and it just drips a little bit of water. You can see it on the website on the webpage, and it just drips down. And we look at it like it looks beautiful because the photographer we have, amazing photography.
Like a rum sour. Rum sour is a nice drink.
Yeah,
rum sours. Yeah.
But it has to be balanced. Because I remember the story of that bartender, Richard, made you that sour with no sugar in there because he was like, "Oh no, it's Richard. There can't be any sugar inside this cocktail."
That's a much repeated story. That's give me nightmares.
Oh, I think Jürgen Wise decided, do we have an Equiano as a daiquiri? 100%, 100%. A Burrell daiquiri.
Probably not, but I can't. I honestly, too many bars, too many drinks, too many
drinks. Yeah.
Probably
daiquiris with agave, orange bitters, and the twist of orange, and you have a Gale Seale daiquiri, no relation to Richard Seale. Well, there's a little bit of relation to Richard Seale. You have a Gale Seale daiquiri there with a Barbados rum. Technically, Equiano is not a Barbados rum. It always bottled in Barbados. No, it's not a Barbados rum. Remember that.
But there's Barbados rum inside also.
There's Barbados rum inside, but we're not trying to be a Barbados rum because Barbados is a country that should be protecting. Needs to be protecting its geographical indications, so you need to be following the rules and regulations of what a Barbados rum is. So we are 100% not a Barbados rum, although we're bottled in Barbados, blended and bottled in Barbados. There are other sets of rules and regulations that I'd love to see come in that would determine what a Barbados rum, just like Scotch and cognac and tequila, other regional geographical areas. So just to let people know, it is not a Barbados rum. It is an African Caribbean.
Of what you're doing when you protect a geographic identity. It has nothing to do with constriction of what you're going to do, because you can work outside the geographic identity to your heart's content.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, I tried loads of great tasting rums from Martinique that are not AOC rums. Pot still rums from St. James, rums that are using old sugar cane from A1710. I'm tasting rums with family recipes added into the blend to create flavor profiles at a favorite. So there are rums from Martinique which has a really good and strict policy on AOC or appellation or making rums that are not AOC rums, but it's still rums of Martinique. So it doesn't mean it's restricting you to how you make your rums, but that's for another conversation. But yes, Equiano is an African Caribbean rum, bottled and blended in Barbados. But because the fact that it hasn't adhered to what I see as the Barbados rules of making rum, it's not a Barbados rum. And now the reason why I mention that is because when you make a Gale Seal daiquiri, technically you should be using the Barbados rum from Foursquare.
And we don't want to confuse it with a Barbados rum. So that's why the packaging does it as well. We don't, if we just tried to, like, for example, we did that product and we tried to leverage the good reputation of Barbados and sort of splashed Barbados big and bold on it.
Yeah.
Which then caused consumers to be confused that it was a Barbados rum.
Correct.
That would actually then be, that would be illegal, or at least that would be, well, illegal is the wrong word, but it would be, that would contravene.
Unethical.
That's also.
It would be like contravening the trademark. It would be, you would have some liability to the owner of the GI.
It's also a cool thing, I would say, because there's no Foursquare on the bottling, no gray distillery. Yeah,
only
blended and bottled.
Only at the bottom. Only at the bottom.
Blended and bottled. Yeah, but there's no distillery statement.
Yeah, exactly. The idea is to not cause
confusion.
To not put anything there that could cause misleading.
Yeah,
misleading that it is a Barbados rum.
Yeah,
and we do the same thing with our, with Veritas. You can see the biggest thing is white rum, and then it's the description at the back. We don't want someone picking it up thinking either that it's a Barbados rum or a Jamaica rum.
But this is also a very good sign, because here we see that you give the blended rum a name, not a distillery statement. So like Tiger Shark or Black Todd, they don't use distillery statements. They're just giving the lovely liquid.
That's what a blend is. I mean, when you think back to the days of blends, prominence of Scotch whiskey blends, or go back to blends in like the Caribbean and that. So if you look at, for example, Martin Dorley blender.
Yeah.
The reason why his name for the blend was Macher. It was a symbol with the Macher. So it was, Macher.
That's a bird, by the way. A tropical bird. Tastes very nice with some bread and sauce. Anyway, sorry, I just didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean that's the the concept was always, a name. So, or a separate identity, an identity from the blender, not from the distillery, because there were multiple distillery blends.
Yeah.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah, for me, I have to say that's a really, really good rum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And not for this. I have to say thank you. And I have also to say thank you for being our guest for today.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Because I have to say it was a lovely discussion, and so much info about the liquid, also about the story. And I think for the German market, it's also pretty good that we have you as a guest speaker representing this kind of liquid.
Oh, well, Germany's an important part of the world rum market, so it's always great fun being in Germany talking about rum. I'm glad that you guys had it on your portfolio. I'm glad you guys are doing very, very well with it. And now we'll see how Germany takes to it. Now the bars are opening and the hotels, the hotel bars, and of course Germany's always been a big rum drinking country. Yeah, I know that up north they like their Jamaican. How can we put it diplomatically?
High
Highest. I'm talking about Flensburg. Which is very historical when it comes to actually Flensburg used to be part of Denmark. I probably knew that anyway, but anyway, well, that's another story. But yeah, Flensburg and all those Rumverschnitts of the world that materialize. So I know they like their high ester, full-bodied, punch you in the balls type of rums, but it's also nice to see that Germany likes rums a little bit more subtle and flavoursome, and you can finish the whole bottle in a session as well.
It depends. So I have to say, yeah, I think actually the geeky guys are drinking more the high ester rums.
No, really?
Yeah, maybe this one. No, I don't know. No. So let's say, so in the past there was, I think, Guyana rums. Then it switched to the high ester Jamaican ones. And what I actually see on the market with the geeky guys is that they're searching for the next super duper highest.
I know.
Liquid, you know.
Yeah, don't say this to a Barbadian, because a Barbadian, they're like, what the hell is this high ester stuff?
Yeah. So, and for me, it is also very important to have a liquid that you can join every day. You know. Right. Yeah. I also love high ester rum, but it's not a rum for every day.
Yeah.
So you need fun. You need the right time for joining a high ester rum. But this one, you can come at home. Yeah. Take some really super nice smooth glasses. Yeah. Sit on the balcony, having a cigar, maybe enjoying the sun. Pour some rum into your glass. Maybe one, maybe two, maybe 3, 4, 5. Don't know. And this is rum for everyone and for every day.
Session rum. Remember, rum for the many, not for the few.
Yeah.
I don't have to say it in German, but I'm going to have to learn it from you, and I'm going to use it as my German phrase when I come to Germany to do my talks. Rum for the many, not for the few.
So when do you come? When do you join us here in Germany? So summer or autumn? So winter?
When our prime minister lets me out the country. No, winter is too cold. Yes, I'm gonna arrange something. It may be before Rumfest, maybe in September. Or arrange a quick small little tour. And then back in London, because we've got a lot of stuff to do in London to promote and get ready for Rumfest, which is actually a week-long festival. So 7 days of rum in London for Rumfest this year. So September could be a good time. Hopefully Richard will be over in Europe around that time. We'll see.
He is?
Oh, I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't have his diary. I have to speak to Gail. Gail is the Foursquare global ambassador, and she has a diary.
So we will do a masterclass together.
We could do one. Yeah, we could do a masterclass on
could be a nice idea.
Yeah, on rums from Barbados. That could be a good masterclass. Yeah, maybe we'll call.
Richard is now free.
Richard is listening and saying, "Ian, shut up. I'm not coming to Germany."
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think you're thinking about it.
Yeah, probably when I come to Rumfest in October, will probably be the first time I'll travel.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and make whiskey show as well, but it all depends how safe it is. My dad's 83, so I got to be really careful.
Very, very important. Very important. Yeah, I have to keep the family safe. That's the most important thing, and which is what we always be looking at in this time.
It's just like common sense, risk. He's 83, so risk bringing deadly virus into family. Attend a rum show. Well,
correct. Yeah.
Which will
not even
there next year. So exactly. So if I don't turn up, it's a good reason why.
Correct.
But
and the other thing as well is, and the other thing as well, I've done a few shows where Luca Gargano, who is also part of the rum family, and one of the legends in the rum industry. There's been a few times where I've just had a pull-up banner of Luca. So he was there in spirit. We just had a banner of Luca. We can do that with Richard. If Richard can't make it over to Germany, I'll just bring a pull-up banner of Richard. I have a little tape of Richard's quotes, and we'll be there. We'll be there in spirit. So, but are there any questions, Stefan, from people out there before we leave? Because I know there's a few questions.
So my colleague Jürgen was asking if we maybe got a cask strength edition, or maybe some different casks or some different blends in the future.
Well, that's something I would love to do in the future. Again, as I said earlier, it's a case of something I'd have to ask Richard.
No immediate plans.
No immediate plans. But
possible.
Yes, anything's possible. Anything possible.
Because what we know is that Richard is doing also something with fresh sugarcane juice. So there could be also a possibility to, because Mauritius also distilled from fresh sugarcane juice.
Correct. So, half the distilleries do. Yeah.
Maybe you can do something in the blend.
Yeah, there'll definitely be. Richard's gone. There'll definitely. Yeah. No, there'll definitely be in the Equiano family a blend of sugarcane juice and molasses rums from Barbados and Mauritius. That's 100%. But I can't. That's all I can tell you at the moment. But there is definitely 100% going to be a Mauritian, Barbados collaboration, cane juice and molasses rum.
Ooh. Sounds sexy, yeah, man. but what's happening is Richard Gunn he's going to bed.
No idea. Richard's in Barbados. I'm in London. Oh no, he's coming back.
Sorry, I accidentally left. Sorry.
Are you at the Foursquare Distillery, Richard? Is that the office?
I'm at the distillery, yes.
Oh, I just realized. Yeah, he's at the office. Distillery. I just recognized it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, this is the nearest that a lot of people get to Foursquare. Just a picture of Richard online inside his office.
I have to say, I have to go to the Foursquare Distillery to watch everything.
I definitely recommend. Definitely recommend you go to. Definitely recommend. Cool. Excellent. Any more questions, or are you kicking us off?
I think we are done because nobody has some more questions. So I think we. But
James is going to order the bottle tomorrow. Get it from Kirsch. Who else? Keegan. Oh no, I'm not going to repeat what Keegan said. It's a technical question.
I think we are completely done. So we got all informations for our crowd, and I think we are done. Excellent. So if you want, we can cheer each other with the Equiano rum.
Cheers. Well, only me and you. Maybe I need Equiano. Richard hasn't got any Equiano, so.
So Ian, Richard doesn't has any liquid, so we have to drink a bit more on his neck.
But you know what Richard's going to do? Richard's going to go into the distillery, into the warehouse, and pull out some 6-year-old Calvados cask. Rums that have been maturing in Calvados casks that are absolutely amazing. And then
you had some Calvados rum cask?
Yes. Yeah. And then drinking it and then looking at us like, oh yeah, by the way, it's not ready for another 4 years. That's what he's going to do. That's what he's going to do. So don't even tempt him to do that because it's absolutely amazing. Calvados cask. Oh,
pretty good.
Yeah, you did right pretty good. Wow. Yeah.
Ready soon.
I want to have the sample.
I got a sample here somewhere.
I tried to smuggle some out of the distillery when I was there last. I think they got security guard now on the gates, just in case people like me come there trying to smuggle out some Calvados Castle, or people like Luca smoking on the premises.
Anyhow, I'm gonna run.
And roll out some barrels.
So I will see you guys. Thanks for having me.
Richard, thanks for
thank you for having you in our show, and I hope we hear something soon.
You will
from each other, maybe.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Yeah.
And thank you,
So
Stefan,
cheers, guys,
for listening to this as well. And good luck.
You're always welcome.
Yeah.
And I hope we can do some shows again, and maybe
definitely.
this year in Germany doing a great masterclass tour.
100%, yeah. And I'll bring Loic as well from Mauritius, the rum master at the Grays Distillery who looks after the rum. Loic's a great guy. Yeah, he's a great guy as well. He's a bit shy, but he's a good guy as well. He makes the rum at Grays in Mauritius.
So Gail will come, you will come, he will come.
Yeah, and Richard.
Super sexy. So
perfect.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers, man. How do you say cheers in German again? Prost.
Prost.
That's right. I remembered. Prost. Prost.
And in Jamaica?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Cheers, man. Thank you.
Super. Cheers. Bye, Ian.
Bye.